Welcome back into another episode of Infamously Speaking. We're going to be switching things up, and I want to get right to that point before we start talking about other things. What's going to be different about Infamously Speaking moving forward? As you all know, we built this podcast channel following that we have. I don't even know what the right words to use are. Really talking about sports, but as the show has evolved, as we have evolved as people, we came to start talking about things more than just sports. Quan, you brought up a good point. I won't steal your shine because I want you to kind of talk about the change that we're making as well. But pretty much what's going to happen is we're still going to have some sports stuff involved, but we're not going to be as heavily focused on sports analysis, breakdowns. And Quan, I want to let you jump in here to kind of talk a little bit about why we made that decision to moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm always asking people, how do you feel about the show? What do you like? What don't you like? And the majority of the audience, they're like when we talk about things that are relatable to sports, but not primarily sports. So, like the leadership thing, or how do you navigate through tough times and difficult situations? Stuff that's, I feel, more relatable to the general public, I guess you could say. I think another thing about us is, when we even came up with Infamously Speaking as a name, it was always the thought process of we'll challenge each other and we'll challenge other sports. I guess you want to say journalists if you want, I guess, or potters or whatever you want to call them. In their opinion, the thing is that due to our schedule, our time, and this not being our primary focus as far as income and all that, it makes it a little bit more difficult to be one of the first to deliver the content. So by the time we're delivering the content, it's a little saturated or it's a little older than we would like. But what we'll do is for example, right, and we could jump right into it if you want, or we could just continue this conversation of why or how come we got here. But ultimately, right, think about it like this. We'll take some content from football or from any sports, in this case, the Jalen Hurts situation in the Eagles. At what point do you say this isn't working and do you move on? And then how do you navigate through that? And that could be with many different things, right? But how is it relatable to the real life? Maybe it's a work environment. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's, I don't know, anything else that may be something that, was great or got you a championship in this case, but it's not working out now. And what does that look like? Do you give up or do you try to work your way through it? What's the best option? And that's for us to discuss.
That was great. Poetic even. I'm not gonna even, I was captivated just listening. I'm like, where's this guy going with that? I'm like, because there was nothing good about what I watched on Monday night. But
Yeah.
no, I think you laid it out perfectly. And so moving forward, I think you laid out what you can expect from Infamously Speaking. And I think we've been doing this, believe it or not, since 2019. And this has definitely been the most consistent we've ever been over the course of a year. We said 40 episodes. We've dropped way more content than just 40 episodes throughout the year. I mean, thinking about back when we had a shout out to our guy Gmo on. He was one of our first episodes of the season because Philly was on that run, right? So we're talking about Philly at that, top of the mountaintop. We had him on live after the Rams game, that exciting NFC divisional game. We all the way through basketball season, the NBA finals, that was heating up, my Knicks devastating heartbreak. And to now starting up and we're almost through another entire football season. So, but I feel like we're in the best position ever to do this and to really plant our flag on something on what we want to do on this channel. And I think you outlined that great. Yes, we're still going to talk sports. Yes, we might do an occasional show where maybe we focus a little bit heavier on sports, but that is not going to be the norm. The norm is going to be analyzing situations that we can learn or take away from sports and applying them to the everyday. And that is what is going to allow us to do exactly what our mission is, which is think critically, speak infamously. But also, we said this when we first started this podcast is that if we could provide any kind of knowledge or insight that changes one person's view or out or insight or situation, whatever it is, that's worth it. That's the goal. So, infamously speaking, sports and culture with a heavier focus on the culture now more than ever, because I feel like that's what's needed now more than ever. So, can't be more excited for the future of our show. I think it's gonna we're stepping into the best era yet of infamously speaking, and I think the fans are gonna enjoy it. So appreciate everybody for rocking with us. And if you want, we could jump right into that topic that you brought up right there, because it felt like that's maybe where you wanted to go, and we'll kick it off.
Yeah, that it's been heavy on me lately. Just to be a little bit vulnerable without getting into specifics, it's just a lot is starting to pile up with different things in my life, and being able to manage it hasn't been the easiest. Which is kind of crazy, right? Because you and I talked, and like this is probably the most positive I've been in quite some time, if not my entire life, right? Like so positive. If somebody threw a receipt at me at Costco, I would just be like, "Are you having a good day?" Do you know what I mean? No, it's like, so I am, I'm still trying to improve, and it's been taking its toll. So I'm starting to ask myself. Actually, I seen a video. I forgot the guy's name. I wish I knew it. It was he does like little short videos of like positivity or something to think about, and it was like something along the lines like to better myself or for my self improvement, I'm gonna have to say goodbye to others.
Whoa.
And yeah, so that's kind of like what I thought of. And then honestly, I did think about Hurts in that situation. Like, he got him a ring, MVP of the Super Bowl, but at this point in time, and that's great, right? That's the ultimate goal. That's the level you want to get to. But at this point, he looks way more detrimental to the team than he is bringing that, and making a positive impact. So similar to that, I start thinking like, how am I making an impact? Not even the people that I may say goodbye to, because I know that because of everything I'm tackling or everything that I'm trying to carry the weight of, it's it's killing my energy and my mood, where I want to just completely isolate myself and separate myself from others, so I don't overreact or cause rifts that doesn't really necessary. Because at the end of the day, all I really want is just some peace in my life. It's just peace and just normal activity.
That's what everybody wants, right? Everybody wants peace. I think that's so real though, what you just said. Number one, I'm not sure for our longtime listeners if they caught that reference to the Costco receipt. That's a throwback. I remember that episode, by the way. That's a throwback. If you caught that reference, you're a real one. But to get back to what you said, I think the biggest thing is like moving out here, moving to Washington, is you can love people from afar. I think that's one of the hardest things that maybe anybody has to learn, especially because of the things that we're taught, especially if you're like close knit family or you got friends that you grew up your entire life. And, it's come to a point in your life where y'all have kind of gone different ways. You guys might not be interested in the same things, or the path that somebody's going down is not necessarily the one that you agree with or want to be involved with. And it's so easy to look at it and say, yeah, but if I change up, then people are going to think I'm acting funny. When really, like you said, what you're trying to do is you're just searching for some peace. And if there's things that other people are doing, or of a situation that you're in that you can get out of, right? Whether it's physically moving yourself or physically detaching yourself from something, I don't necessarily think that's the worst thing in the world. I mean, it sounds a little bit harsh, right? You're like removing people. But I think sometimes that's the best thing you could do for yourself, but also for the person that you're removing yourself from, because that might open their eyes to be like, man, why, maybe you're not the first person that's removed yourself. Maybe other people have too. And, maybe like, wait a minute. So Quan did, and this person did. Sometimes that forces people to look inward and be like, maybe I'm the problem. It's like the person that gets married, divorces, and gets married again and gets divorced. And it's like, no, they were the crazy one. It's like, you sure? Because you're on your 5th marriage. You sure
Yes.
about that?
You start looking at what the common denominator is.
Right. Like, you're the only
Yeah.
person involved in all 5 of those marriages. You sure it was them? Meanwhile, they're happy. They got a whole other family. Don't even remember your name.
You know what's wild is you said it exactly how I'm feeling it, which is like, at the end of the day, I feel like I am a better person with a big heart. So like to come across harsh sometimes, as crazy as that sounds coming from me,
That does sound crazy.
it's like I try, but it's taking its toll where I feel like I just have to just be like, yo, this is not too much. Yeah.
No, man. Like, I think one thing too, and it's good that you have the self-awareness that you see it's wearing down on you, especially because of the position that you're in, right? A leader, a father, because that can impact other people that depend on you. Because those people, it's like a commercial from a while ago. I think it was like a Vicks commercial for like NyQuil or whatever, where it's like parents don't get sick days, right? Like leaders don't get sick days. It doesn't, like, if you're off, and we talked about this privately, in a phone call, was you set the tone. Your energy, sometimes people depend on that. And when your energy's low, everybody feeds off of that and impacts them. So it's good for you to have that kind of awareness to be like, man, there's something that's kind of nagging on me. Because you're able to catch that and address it earlier than, let's say the people that you lead, you notice that they're lagging a little bit and you're like, what the heck is going on? Or what other relationships that you have. And you, like you said, the common denominator, it's like everything around me seems like it's moving slow or it's off. What's going on? And then it turns out that maybe you are the one that's living a little bit off. So,
Correct.
now the question is, how do you rectify that? Right. But let me go on what you were saying.
No, go ahead. Go with the question.
No, it was a question to you. Like, so, like, what's your plan on rectifying the situation, or trying to kind of get your energy, or you get back to that normalcy?
So my plan that I have right now is, if I'm being real, I have an appointment for some therapy. I started making a list, kind of like what we did before, like priorities, and I'm hoping I can get some clarity on, like, I guess, how to navigate through what I need to like focus on first, I guess. And I think that's kind of like where I am now, where I know I have to put myself first, because we talk about it all the time. Like, if I'm not good, how am I going to be good for anybody else? Which also leads to what you was just saying, and what I was going to respond to is that energy piece of like, I'm feeling drained, so how can I bring it every day to every person that's around me? Doesn't matter where, when, whatever, right? Whether it's my mom with what she got going on with me, my grandmother and the situation she's dealing with, my daughter, which is always priority number one in everything that I go through. She's going through a lot, and how do I keep making sure that I'm, keeping her on the brighter side of days? And I think that this is another reason why I kind of want to switch up the thing too, because if there's somebody out there that might have some suggestions, and I'm all ears.
The lines are open.
Yeah. But
hello, Sleepless in Seattle. You're on.
We needed that. We needed a little joke in there. That was actually good. You would be you look like a radio host.
I don't.
Like
hopefully
right now?
that's a good thing. Hopefully that's a good thing. I don't.
Tune into your love jams like Matt. We gotta get you a DJ name. What's that song we used to always sing?
Oh, Shy.
For the very first time. Yo, Now I can't sing, ladies and gentlemen, but
Well, you ain't alone.
I enjoy a good tune. And
You are not alone.
shout out to my guy Chris with the Gem podcast. You know, he had posted something like a month or two ago that resonated with me and started really thinking about making this transition too, because he was it was about working out and having discipline to get to the gym no matter what, even if it's for 20, 30 minutes. And it helped me because I was having a tired, long day. It's been long days. So I was like, man, I've been working out. I've been working hard. I could make up for it. But then when I heard the video, I'm like, yo, I could get there for 30 minutes to an hour. So
Facts.
his video encouraged me to get there, and I did. So I was like, that's the impact I ultimately would love to have with us doing this and making this transition.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I actually saw that clip. I think it was like a couple of days ago where he was talking about self-discipline, holding yourself accountable, making sure that if you promise you're going to do something for yourself, that you go and do it, and you don't let being tired or whatever happen stop you from going ahead and doing whatever you said you were going to do. And I thought that was a powerful message. Absolutely. Even in tying it back to the situation that you said, you said that you wanted to get back to that sense and level of peace. Well, you said you have a plan, right? You kind of have a list of things that you want to go after, but you're not really sure, hey, what should I go after them? Now, the self-discipline is, hey, you got to go and figure, you're going to keep on working to cross those things off the list and not just give up, right? Not just like, all right, this is how things are, this is how things are, So definitely a great message. But I do quickly want to jump back to how you started it off with the Eagles, because I know we got a lot of sad Philly fans out there, and I knew it was bad. Out to my coworker, he came into the office Tuesday after that tough night, and he was like, "Yeah, Jalen is the fucking problem." And for him, he was defending him all season long. I'm like, man, I'm glad I got off that ship when I did. I was on the ship for too long, but I got off early, So my question to you is this. Obviously, we saw what we saw from Philadelphia last season, right? They won everything. Now we're seeing them go through what they're going through now. And like the ship is not sunk, right? They're still in good playoff position, right? 8-4. They're in a good spot, still leading the division. They would be the 3 seed, I think, if the season ended today in the NFC, right? So it's not terrible. But yet, the perspective is that the ship is completely sunk. So 2 questions here. One, how do you think they could right the ship? Like, is there something, do you think it's something internally? And then 2, why do you think our perspective is so bad about a team that's in a good spot still?
It's because they're in a good spot because of the way they won, but it's also the perspective of why we have what we have of them and how they won. It's been ugly. It's been ugly, and their record could have easily been worse, right? When you think about, I think it was the Rams game with the blocked field goal, right? It was a couple games. I was like, the defense or special teams just saved it. At the
Tampa game was another one.
Yeah, so I think it's the way that they're winning and losing, but overall, the way they've been playing lately has just been atrocious. If there's no way you look at that team right now and say they have a chance.
I agree.
Like, I agree. Obviously, they're gonna make it due to the circumstances, but they don't have a chance to win the Super Bowl this year.
I agree.
To right the ship, just to answer that question, I think righting the ship is gonna take some deep analysis of the situation at quarterback. And I'm not saying that because I've been on Hurts all year. It's more like that's the primary reason that I'm seeing their struggle.
No, I think anybody who's watched the games could agree with you. That and their ability to rely on something that they were able to rely on last year, which is extremely strong running game and explosive plays out of their running back. So to kind of transition a little bit away from sports, but still kind of stay on that same theme. Because what I felt like when I'm thinking about the Eagles, I kind of taking a step back, is it's like the sales rep who's the cashier, right? Like they just things just walk in, right? And like, oh, look at me, look at my numbers. But it's like, but what did you do? You know what I mean? Like, what did you do? The behaviors that you wanted to see, or the consistency, that the things that you were looking to see that you would consider like the the foundations of success weren't there. They were just, in baseball terms, they were just running into ones, right? They were just running into the ball. It wasn't the best swing. It was just they ran into it, right? And so now, listen, you got to give credit where credit is due, especially in the NFL. It's not easy to win, but like you said, nothing that they were doing spoke to this is sustainable, and we're seeing that kind of break down, right? They're not having the same. They're not getting the same Saquon Barkley they did last year. They're not getting the blocked field goals they were getting in the beginning of the year. They're not getting, in the Rams game, offenses taking off entire halves of football because they feel like they're good. They're not going to be able to score. And so that was the first thing that came to mind, was the cashier sales rep. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, look how good I did. And it's like, man, I watched all your games. I watched all your interactions.
Yeah, you sold them exactly what they came in for.
They came in for it. They left with exactly what they came in for. It just so
Yeah.
happened to be something that, that we're tracking.
That was lucrative. Yeah.
Right.
In the moment. But like, can you do it to that person who's just coming here for something else?
Exactly. And I'm like, dang, man. That's what this year's Eagles remind me of. Which at the end of the day, maybe in the NFL that correlates, if you have enough talent, that correlates to, 11 wins, 12 wins. But when it's game time, playoff talent, you said you're like, yeah, no, that's probably a one and done team. Or maybe if they get it to the second round, because they'd have a home game.
Well, if they get it there,
they have to play the Rams or somebody, and you're like, maybe
if they get it there, they're gonna have to change those behaviors or implement the ones that you're talking about, which is possible. I mean, they got there last year with a good portion of the same team, so it's possible, but it's unlikely, because it's like you have these behaviors in place this whole time of what you've been doing. Now all of a sudden you're just gonna switch it up.
I think that's why you don't have very much hope for their chances, right? Like, how are you just gonna switch it up? Because the building blocks of what you had last year are not the same. They had a very, very strong defense last year. Defense is still good, but it's not nearly as good as it was last year. And like, they had the best rushing attack. They had the best rushing attack. They don't have that anymore. I think that talks to two different things. The flexibility, right, which is extremely important, right? Like, what worked today isn't going to be what brings you success tomorrow, right? There's always going to be foundational pieces, but you gotta be able to build upon that. You got to be able to continue to move things around. Like, even the most popular hotels in the world, right? They might be old, but they renovate. They don't keep shit the same. Like, it's not like if we build it, people will come philosophy. No, they know that they're gonna keep switching that shit up.
Wow, fill the dreams.
Feel the dream. That's right.
I got
That's
you.
right.
Guy.
Coming out the corn, baby. So I think
that was really well put. I could appreciate that, right? You have the foundation, but you also have to build it. That's why I love the self-improvement and like just improvement in general. Is like you have to find other skills and assets so that way when you do run into those times and the foundational pieces aren't working, you can maneuver. The problem is it's similar to the Eagles. Is like right now, myself in the situation, I'm finding it difficult because it's just the skills, I guess, aren't there. So that's what I'm trying to look for when I go to these other things, which is kind of crazy because I'm a very skillful person.
So hey, listen, I mean, I would agree sometimes. But let me ask you this, because one other thing that I think, and I promise fans of the Eagles, we're not picking on you. It's just that was the last football game that we saw, right? And I think it's very relevant to what people experience, the roller coasters of life, right? All the way at the mountaintop, and look at that, we're 8 months removed, 10 months removed from that, and we're questioning whether they're valid or not. The vibes are off. I mean, at least look from the outside looking in, it looks like the vibes are completely off. They had that, what was it? The bunny, the positivity bunny or whatever.
The positive bunny in the locker room. Crazy.
they're trying to do things to rally around each other, and it's not working. It's just weird. As a leader, and I know you always talked about how important culture and vibes were, right? Because you want to be excited. You want people excited to come to work, or just to be. You want to be people excited to be around you. Like you don't want negative people around you because that can impact you. So how can you address negative vibes, negative culture, negative whatever it may be? And I'm not saying the Eagles culture is negative. We're not inside the locker room. It's just from the outside looking in. This year compared to last year, it looks completely different. It feels completely different.
How do I address the negative?
Yeah, how do you? Because I'm sure that you've been in some negative environments that you've
Within
been tasked to
myself
turn
or
around.
within
It
myself or
could,
others?
yeah. I mean, whatever, wherever you want to start, we could do external and internal, but wherever you want to start.
I guess internally, right? I think you said it where you got to have that awareness piece because if you're not even aware of your energy being low, it's hard to make the adjustments necessary. And then you kind of just depending on what's bringing your energy low, that negativity, you gotta. And I like to say you gotta embrace it and then figure out how do you get over that or get through that. The problem is that sometimes it's more of a difficult challenge than you may have anticipated, which is kind of where I'm at, if I'm being real.
Mm.
As far as having conversations with people who's bringing down the energy, I changed my approach with that. So like I used to be like, yo, you're bringing bad vibes. Like I can't fuck with this. Whatever the case, right? Kind of like more direct. Now it's more like empathetic of like, what is that person going through, right? What challenges are they facing where it's really bringing their mood down, and then how can I be supportive to help them get through that? Whether
Hmm.
I remember listening to something somebody put me onto, and it was like, I wish I knew the. I don't want to go into it because I don't know the details. I don't want to screw it up. But it was important. It was more about like when people share things with you, um, and you say, "Oh, you know, sorry that you're going through that," but you can't really understand because you ain't.
Sympathy versus empathy.
Yes, yes, yes. So, and just kind of being an ally and just supportive in any way I possibly can. I think the thing that helps me personally is having a lot of experience. I can connect with people at a level that is genuine, that helps them feel like they have a level of support. That makes sense.
No, that does. And I'm glad you brought that up because I'll be vulnerable here. I struggle with that. I struggled. I still struggle. Growing up, you know me. I feel like I take a good bit after my dad, right? And so, uh,
Shout out to
but
Pops, man.
shout out to Pops big time. But one thing that he always taught us was it when you got shit to do, it's fuck how you feel. You just gotta go and do it. You gotta go and grind. No one cares about how you feel. The world don't care about how you feel. You got a job to do, you go get it done. Because if you don't do it, then how people gonna eat? How people gonna have a roof over their head? Right? And so I'm like, yeah, facts. That's how it is. So even to this day, like whenever I start feeling like I'm getting upset about something at work or situation, I gotta check myself and be like, yo, you ain't getting paid to be emotional. You're getting paid to get a job done. And that is what it is. Separate the personal from the business and go get that shit done. But I can operate that way. Not everybody else can. And I
Yeah,
think
especially
sometimes
the
I
space you're
struggled.
in.
Like I struggled. Even when I was in the space, in the stores, right? Where, I was looked at as a leader of peers. And there was definitely people that didn't operate like that. There's people that wanted to be connected to differently. And I struggle with that because I'm like, yo, I really honestly, respectfully, don't give a fuck about how you feel. And like respectfully, of course. But it's like we're here to do a job. You're getting paid. You know what I mean? It's like you should be grateful you have this because you know what? There's a guy literally outside the store holding up a sign right now, asking for $20 every time I pass him. Now, granted, I mean, again, I struggled it because of that. That was my mindset. And I'm not saying it was the right mindset to have because, I had to work on that. Because some people do, like you said, some people do just want you to hear them out and say, this is why I'm struggling. What if maybe they're going through something? Like if they're constantly late, instead of getting on them for being late and saying there's no excuses, like what's going on? You know what I mean? And then trying to figure out a solution with them. Like, hey, maybe we could schedule 30 minutes later or whatever. But back in the beginning, it was never like that. I'm like, yo, fuck how you feel, man. Just get the job done, bro.
It's I feel what you're saying 100%. Because even me, like when I'm around people, I try my best to just be that positive, upbeat person, and I do a pretty good job at it, I'd say. Because I even ask people, like, during a conversation, I'm giving them feedback, and I always love hearing feedback. It's not just a show, just in general. So I'm like, I'm just curious. Do you think I'm going through anything? And every one of them said no, which is a good thing.
That's a bless, bro. That's great.
Yeah, but then the thing is, it is because like you said, I'm setting that tone, but it isn't because I'm carrying that every single moment throughout every single day. So carrying it over and over, it just takes its toll. Just if I'm being real. So what it does is, in that moment, it might be helpful, but in the background, people's not seeing the wariness and the overbearing weight that is continuing to pull them.
Well,
which then ultimately affects other areas of my life. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Do you want them to know that? Do you want them to know that maybe you're going? I mean, maybe you do. I just a question.
I don't think it matters. Because either A, they don't care, or maybe they do, and that's fine too. But B, like you said, like you said, you still got training, got to still keep going. So, if anything, the reason why I wouldn't mind them knowing is because it's almost like leading by example. Like you can go through shit and not show it.
Wow, this guy's good. Also, I think another thing too is it just dawned on me is, maybe that if they know, it might make you more relatable to them, like you just said, right? Like man, yeah, he does go through similar shit. Especially if it's a newer team that maybe doesn't know you, and then also, if they know, they might be able to be a motivation to you, like you are to them, right? Like, hey, bro, you got this, you good, you good, we got it, whatever, you know what I mean? Like they might be more because they know you're going through stuff. They might just pick shit up without even saying something. Be like, oh damn, what might really help them out if I check in this inventory real quick. He don't even gotta ask. I'll just do it, or whatever this little task is that you would normally do. They just pick that shit up. You know what I mean? Or they come back and they, instead of coming, with negative energy, they might purposely, consciously be like, nah, I already know he's down a little bit, so maybe I won't be negative today. I mean, that's probably not true, but just throwing that out there if they're conscious.
I think that's a great point that I didn't really think about either. So I'll think about how I'll approach that. So I appreciate that. This is why I love this. This is why
it's a great way to get other people to do shit they would normally not do. Just act like you're sad.
Just start making shit up of why I'm going through shit. That's crazy. That's crazy work.
See, now people are gonna listen to this, but yo, we're not fucking helping Matt out. Do not help this guy out.
Yeah.
Do not help this guy out. This is why I'm like, yo, should I talk about the podcast when I'm at work? Because then if people listen, they can be like, oh, that's how Matt really is. Even though I feel like I'm this way 100% of the time. Like I'm definitely like this. Like, for example, a quick little detour So we was talking about, we got this call at work every Wednesday, 30 minutes, where it's kind of like everybody could come together. You kind of shoot the shit a little bit, right? Because we're all over the country. And they were talking about Christmas stuff, because tis the season, right? And everybody's talking about their favorite Christmas movies and shit like that. And I'm minding my own business because you know how I feel about Christmas. I love Christmas. It's one of my favorite times of the year, but I don't do Santa. I don't do elves. I don't do any of that shit, right? I don't do that. But so when you say stuff like that, people automatically assume like, oh, this guy has no Christmas spirit. Yeah, I'm Scrooge.
Bah humbug.
And so I'm minding my own business, right? Not talking. I'm just listening. I'm on camera. I'm chilling. And somebody brings up my name, right? They're like, oh, I wonder what Matt does. I'm like, oh, golly, right? So I'm like, no, I don't really watch Christmas movies like that. No, I don't do Santa. No, I don't do Elf on the Shelf. I don't do any of that. And they're like, my goodness, you don't have any fun, whatever. And then they started talking about Santa.
You don't have any fun, it's crazy.
And I was like, I'm like, hear me out here. I'm like, if you really want to give Santa credit, I'm not sure if I talked about it on the show. I'm not giving nobody credit for the gifts that I get my kids. No chance. But I was like, if you guys are really into that, how about this? Instead of writing Santa on the presents, write my name. Because you don't give a shit who it comes from, right? So write my name. What's the difference? I'm real.
Yeah.
So you can even show them a picture of me.
That's fucking hilarious, bro.
I'm real.
That's hilarious. You can show them a picture too.
Yo, real.
So I could just picture. I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna give a gift to Nove this year, and I'm gonna put from Matt.
Why not? Why not? At least, yeah, that's crazy. But why not? Right? I'm like, I didn't get into it because it's a work call. Some people don't really know me that well on that call too. So I'm like, I don't want them to like hate me. But I'm like, let me get this straight. You're openly admitting in front of a whole bunch of people that you perpetually lie to your children. Is that what that's literally what you're saying? And on for the
Did you say this on the call?
No, I didn't. But this was going through my head.
I would have loved to hear this story if it played out on the call like that.
No.
So I got a couple questions. Going
through my head.
Well, first and foremost, let me put this out there. I respect you and the way that you approach it. I remember when you told me that a long time ago, and I was like, this guy is different. Even with like Halloween too, stuff like that, and trick or treating. And I thought about it because of E-Man and being the godfather of E-Man. I was like, man, you're not even gonna let him like get candy. But he's like, I'll get candy for him, which is fine. And in fact, I respect it even more because as a godfather, I wouldn't ever go against your wishes, right? So I that holds a lot of weight with me. So after that, back to the questions I had. So this call, it's just a shoot the shit call.
Yeah, it's like there's.
Is there any like substance? Like, is there? I guess you're getting to know your team. That's the substance, or getting to know.
It's like water cooler talk. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's just 30 minutes. We don't talk about work.
Okay.
People, which is a cool.
I kind of like that. So that if there's anywhere you would be able to express the way you just expressed yourself, that would be like a good scenario or a good situation.
That would be
it
would be the forum, but I wouldn't say it like. I shouldn't even say I wouldn't say it like that. Because I definitely would say it like that, depending on the audience. It's just, I'm not about. I mean, we all know the term code switching, right? Where depending on the situation, who you're around, or what venue you're at, you kind of switch who you are, right? You wear different masks. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of that at all. Now, yes, will I be a little bit more cordial when I'm at work? Sometimes I can't even say yes all the time because that'll be a lie. But I'm not going to completely change who I am for that because you hired me, the person. The way that I look at it is the only thing that's unique about me is the fact that I'm me. Anybody can acquire the skills that I have. Anybody could do the job that I have. So why me? It's because of who I am. And so I'm not gonna say nothing offensive. Like that's why I didn't say so. You guys are cool at just lying to your kids forever.
Because that's not
And
who
then-
you are.
And then you wonder why they hate you.
Yeah.
You see, I could have said that,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
that
yeah.
probably wouldn't have been appropriate. You know what I mean? But I'm not.
I don't
gonna
think that
change.
when you say something like that to someone, anyways, I think it's harder for them to receive it, so it's not getting. You know what I mean? All right, so you just said something that I wanted to talk about a little bit because I just went through this, and I had some really questionable thoughts about who and why I am where I am, to the point where it's like, am I the right person for this? Am I good enough to bring that value and that impact?
Wow.
And then I said, as I was like playing it out, I had to remind myself, I am fucking me. And that sounds crazy, actually. Yeah.
That just sound crazy. Oh, damn. Wow.
Nah.
Starting with the man in the mirror.
I am him though. And then it's like kind of like what you said. I love that too. Like I got the same skills that anybody can get. The difference is me and the value that I bring and understanding how I do it. Right? And
Exactly.
that's when it resonated and I was like, all right, I got this. I was overthinking. And, things are starting to roll out the way it should. So I'm happy about that. But, that was an important moment, especially for someone such as myself who tends to have a lot of confidence when it comes to that piece. But we go through those moments. We go through those times where you face challenges, you face adversity. And it's not that I didn't know how to maneuver through it. It's more about, I guess, those thoughts of why is everything transpiring the way it is.
I think, and you could let me know if this was the same for you or not, but I feel like I started having feelings like that more when I became a dad, because it was like now I got people that are dependent on me. And number one, can I do it? Right? It's something that constantly was going through my head, right? And it's by the grace of God and by the grace of God alone. Yes, I could do it. Do I deserve this? Right? Like I got an awesome family. What did I do to earn this responsibility or this honor to do it? And so you constantly question yourself and see that, like you said, you have that moment of clarity, like Jay-Z said, right? Speak my truth. Where you're like, nah, man, the journey proved it. There's a quote, famous tennis player, Billie Jean King, pressure is a privilege. It only comes to those who earn it. So when you feel the pressure, it's because you earned it. You exactly where you're supposed to be. Don't get it twisted. And I think, and it goes back to a conversation that we had when you was in a pivotal moment, fork in the road in your career, where you had options. And what did I tell you? I was like, you want to be comfortable or you want to be uncomfortable? You tell me.
Mm-hmm.
That's a privilege. Yes, sir. You already know what you did. It was obvious. She's like, that's all I needed to hear. It's a privilege. And I think that's the thing but here, I think the trickiest part is if you don't constantly hear things like that, and this is why surrounding yourself with the right people and being around positivity and things like that is so important. Because if you don't keep hearing that message where it gets not just into your mind, but into your heart, you're gonna get scrambled. Because think about it. One of the first things to go when you're under pressure, you're under stress, whatever, is your thought process. That's one of the first things to go. Why do you get you know it, but yet you can't pull it out, right? Pause. But you can't, that thing that is not there, whatever, in your memory bank when you need it. But if it's written here, it's light. When the pressure, when it squeezes, that's what's gonna come out. It's what's written right here. And you know that, listen, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I put in the work. I've done this shit before. So why am I tripping over this? Come on now. Like,
wow, that's the passion we needed back, man. He wasn't talking that way.
Granting me this moment of clarity.
That's fire. Look, even bringing the bars back. This is what the show is about, man. This is what we started. I'm starting to get the vibe again. This is what we wanted to do. So
that's a fact.
And to hear the passion behind it. I mean, you got passion into your power rankings, and I gave you credit for that. But this is different. So it just comes natural. Like, not your power rankings. Your power.
You want to talk about a clown show?
Yeah. But yeah, this
Don't
is
do
what
that.
we're doing, man, and I'm enjoying the fact that one, we can have these conversations. Um,
Hmm?
First and foremost amongst each other, right? It's like you said, it's a blessing and a privilege to have someone um, to have these kind of conversations with, but also share it with the world. So if we can help someone in a situation that's similar, that's what it's here for.
100%. 100%. And I would add one thing too is again going back to that circle piece. Like it's so critical and so important that you surround yourself with the right people. It really is. And because you talked about stepping away from people to kick the show off, right? Or earlier in the show.
Yep.
And so many times people view that as, man, I said I love this person, but I'm stepping away. And how does that show that I love them? I think, and we talked about this on the show. I know we talked about it with Tone a couple of times. Shout out our guy Tone, where I think people got the kind of the wrong, or maybe they don't have a complete idea of what love means because they get caught up with the feeling part of it. When really, it's about doing right by the people you say you love. And sometimes the best thing you could do for somebody is provide some distance. Is provide some distance. And the biggest factor and the biggest reason for that is sometimes you can over support somebody, right? You can, and now you become someone that they consistently lean on, but now they're not getting it on their own, right? Like I think about, we talked about it all the time when we was in stores, was right where it's like people would be cooking, but it's really their managers that were passing stuff off to them. So then when they went to a
Mm.
different spot, it was like, oh, where's that same performance at? But they came to lean on somebody a little too heavily. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you could pick and choose the spots, and even that is difficult, but it's so critical, man, because you got the wrong circle around you, and that could send you on the wrong path quick.
Yeah. And I feel like like people are sponges. I feel like, right, myself
Oh yeah.
included. Where on both sides, because I like to look at both perspectives, right? If I'm the one that someone is leaning into, you're now a sponge absorbing all that negativity, and it's there. And
Yes.
now if there's somebody that you talk to, they're now absorbing that negative energy that stemmed from me. And that could be someone I don't even
Absolutely.
know, just someone that's in your circle on a different side. And then on the other side, because of the things that I may be going through, I realize that my energy isn't always the same with people that isn't really who I am, right? And so it's like now I'm bringing that negative uh, vibe or energy to other people that I don't want to do. So the best thing
Exactly.
I feel like I can do at this moment is kind of separate myself and just create that distance, like you said. But it's not out of place of like harsh or harm. It's more of like respectfully, like you said. So
Fact.
yeah,
Fact. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, but I think it's just the things that we're taught, right? Where it's like if somebody starts acting that way, especially in our community, right? What do people say? Oh, he switched up. He changed up. You know, especially if it happens like at a time where something just happened for you. For example, your case, a promotion, right? But oh, got a promotion, he changed up. It's like, nah, I didn't change up. He's like, what's crazy? You didn't even take the time to ask me if everything was good. You're just assuming something. Like, how do you know I'm not, just because this is going good? I can have some other shit that I'm going through personally that you have no
hmm
clue about. But you just
hmm
assumed I switched up. You know what I mean? We talked about it um, back when we had Gary on the show, Scattered Thoughts. Shout out to Gary, right? Like those check-ins. How's your mental, right? Like checking in on people, how they
yeah,
doing. Like you have no clue, especially when you talk about people like yourself, where it's like you portray this image where it's like, yo, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to make sure my people are good. And and like you said, they had no clue anything was going on, right? How they gonna know if you're holding yourself to a standard that this is how you're gonna show up? So, but if they notice that you started being a little bit distant, then they're like, oh, he switched up. That's not the case. You don't know what's going on in people's lives, man.
Yeah.
So that's real shit, bro. That's real shit. Feel like that got kind of heavy. Can I tell you one of the stupidest things I've heard this week?
Oh, please.
You mind if I do that? All right.
No.
And you know what? I shouldn't say one of the stupidest things because someone obviously put a lot of thought into it, and so maybe just because I don't agree with it doesn't mean it's stupid. So I retract the stupid.
Wait, is it a power ranking?
No. There's a lot of bad ones out there. Not mine. I didn't take the time to put one together this week because I knew we were switching it up. But I could always, I could always chef one up.
No, don't do
that. So I don't even know where it came up. Social media black hole. That sounded crazy. And it was two ladies, but it was two ladies talking, and I don't. It was a podcast for sure. I just don't remember the names. Forgive me, I don't remember the name, and I called your podcast this topic stupid. They was talking about. She's talking about like, oh, my parents always used to say that 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2; it equals 11, and like that's the perfect relationship. You know why? Because 11 is like two lines, right? It's parallel. Parallel lines never touch, but they run aside each other, right? And I was like, internally, right? I'm like, that gotta be some of the stupidest shit I've ever heard. And so I'm like, I gotta understand what the thought process is behind that. But before I do, I'm curious what your just initial thoughts behind that are. That 1 + 1 = 11.
I think it's fucking stupid. I think it's. I don't. Without the context behind it, granted, like
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I mean, you gave some context, like you're running a line, but when you said that, I'm just thinking of a track race for some reason. Like, I also thought about that Beyonce song, which is like 1 + 1 = 2. But go ahead.
So 1 + 1 = 11. It's kind of like you got two people right in a relationship, and like they're not flexing, bending like their styles or whatever, misshaping themselves to be something that they're not to make something work. They're still their individual people, and they're close to each other, but they're both running this race. You know what I'm saying? Like two lines beside each other, so they're close to each other, but they're not changing who they are per se to meet the needs or whatever, to meet whatever the other person wants or whatever. That was kind of the crux of the whole argument. Let me see if I can get a more scientific one while you respond.
With that being said, right? Because you say, they're aligned to make it work. So then my question would be, does it fucking work? Like, what is the proven fact that works? 1, 2. If I took a test right now with a math teacher, and that was the equation 1 + 1, and I put 11, I guarantee they're gonna mark that as wrong. You know
so here it goes. 1 + 1 means synergy, where two entities joining together create something far greater, more powerful, or impactful than their individual parts.
Well, 2 is a greater number than 1 anyway.
Well, if we go to the casino, we play baccarat. 11 is a 2. So, you know what I mean? That shit don't make no sense either. But also, what I didn't like about it is when they said like not changing, right? Like the goal is not to, at least for me. Again, this is infamously speaking, right? Opinion, but truth at the same time. The goal when you get in a relationship is not to be two individuals, especially when you get married. Is not to be two individuals. That is never the. I mean, at least for me, that's never the goal, right? Like I'm not trying to be my own person because guess what? That'll never work in my relationship. If I'm like, I'm just gonna do me. I'm gonna support you, right? I'm gonna go to work, make sure the lights are on, keep a roof over our head, feed, whatever. But I'm not gonna change. I'm gonna be my own person, my own individual, and you're gonna be your own individual. We're just gonna fight all the time. That's all we're gonna do. That's all we're going to do. Right? All we're gonna do is fight. Because I need to change certain, and it doesn't even need to be these massive changes, right? It is. I think that's what people think of. They look at like people that change so much because of relationships. but the small things will change over time. You're changing a bunch of small things. So that's the way I looked at it. I'm like, I don't get the whole 11 thing. Like, oh, two entities coming together symbolize something greater. Like, I'm like, or it's a marriage, and the definition of marriage is things becoming one, not two lines. I didn't understand that. And maybe it's just because I got a simple brain. I don't know. But
No, but that's one thing that I always appreciated about you. Even I remember the conversation we had with Tone about the definition of love and stuff like that. And the thing that resonated with me while you were just, kind of giving your thought process behind it is the change piece. Like me personally, because again, like it's our opinions. I think change, for the most part, is usually what I want and what I seek. Because if I want to continue to grow and learn and evolve,
right.
right? So it's like when you say something that's opposite of that, and in this case, that relationship piece, then it's like, are we gonna continue to just be who we are and just stay aligned in that space?
Yeah, something here says unity. The two ones represent a coming together of spirit and self, a divine message. Like if it was a coming together, then why didn't they just become two? You get what I'm saying? Like one and one. I don't know. Like I thought the message. I'm like that shit didn't make no sense. Maybe it just went
Yeah.
right over my head. So
Listen,
let me know in the comment.
Yeah, let us know, because to me that's like you're just doing too much at that point.
Yeah, like what? You know why a wheel is round and hasn't been approved upon? Because it fucking works. Everybody's like, oh, now 1 + 1 = 11.
But
Cut it
even
out.
that with a wheel, you're talking about a wheel, right?
Yeah, a wheel, not a
Yeah.
whale. A
I said a
wheel.
wheel, a wheel, a wheel. A wheel was once wooden.
That's a good point. Them shits work.
So they work, but they weren't
Now
best.
this guy's now
Right?
now you never seen Gladiator.
So you had to evolve, and you had to make changes that was more efficient, a smoother ride, lasted longer.
But did the shape of the wheel change?
No, I'm not arguing.
Yeah,
that's
what
the
I'm saying,
argument. Is not
round.
for you. The argument is for the not
Oh,
growing piece or not
okay.
evolving.
Yeah, I don't know how I was gonna combat that. So I'm glad you was like
Yeah, no, it wasn't the shape. Yeah,
reel it back. But again, maybe I'm like and who says 11 is better than 2? Just because it's bigger. Pause. Let's get off this topic.
yeah, no, that's good. That was a good little session though about everything.
Yeah. Let us know in the comments if maybe it's going over my head. Because it totally could be. Maybe it's like, no, it means like you're gonna but the way they said it in the video was like people because I think you do see that, right? People getting, and that's another time where people are like, oh, they changed up. They got a girlfriend, boyfriend. Now they're different. They don't want to come out no more. They don't want to. They acting like they're not for the streets no more, which nobody on this show is. Just so you know, just throwing that out there. But you got to change, man. You got any relationship. I mean, and it doesn't even need to be like a domestic partnership. But even think about it as a parent, you're constantly changing. You're constantly evolving. I'm not sure about you, but man, every time I got to discipline my kids, I think about it. I'm like, man, was I too harsh? Was it too harsh? Was I stern enough? And if they go back and do that shit 5 minutes later, clearly I wasn't stern enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you think about stuff like that, and then you adapt your approach. You constantly change, and so that whole straight line shit didn't make no sense to me because it's like, nah, there's gonna be ups and downs, all kinds of changes.
Yeah. Yeah. And
And the
let's
goal
just
is to
say,
get as
right?
close
I'm
as
just thinking
possible.
about something. If let's just say you stay in that straight line, right? You stay who you are, you stay as your individual self, and you have these moments of adversity. And you just continue you both stay who you are, so you're not where do you come to an agreement of like this is what we should do to get through this situation?
Those are the people that say, "Oh, I guess we'll have to agree to disagree then."
Got you. And just to give some people some context with Matt, and another reason why, because Matt is in a great marriage that he works hard at. and he talks about it often. We talk about it, privately a lot of the challenges you may face, but how you get through them and continue to improve that marriage. So
Yeah,
it's not like
absolutely.
the point is that he has some validity with what he
I got
said.
the hardware right here. Just hit 4 years married last
Wow.
Friday. Yeah, December 5th. 8 years together, 4 years married. Still feels like day one.
You know what I thought of? I thought of this is how he makes it work. He just sends her on trips all over the world. And she gets
Nah.
because I remember you saying that in one of the episodes. It's like, yo, bing, oh, another transaction.
Yeah, well, so I'll say this. I'm going to give a shout out to all those stay-at-home parents on the show, right? Because we said it earlier, parents don't get off days, but especially the parents that not work from home, stay at home with children, just because they don't understand the difference, right? They're not like, hey, well, she's not mom anymore. He's not dad anymore. So, but you brought up the trips. Sometimes when you, especially here where, all of our family, a majority of our friends are back in Connecticut. So it's not like she's constantly going out with friends all the time to get out the house and do stuff. And even when we get out, the kids got to come with us, right? They're not old enough to stay by themselves. And so I get to go out when I go to work or whatever. Even if I go to the store on my own, I'm out by myself. Yeah, that's tough, man. I can't imagine being cooped up with kids, especially my kids, man. Especially my kids. And then not be able to get any kind of other adult interaction. And then your adult interaction is me. Like, I'm the adult interaction that you get.
Yeah,
that's rough.
I feel bad for knowing that.
Pouring out for my wife, she a real one. That's tough. Listen, as level-headed of a guy as I am, I said I don't give a fuck about how you feel. That doesn't apply to my wife, by the way. Just throwing that out there. So those trips, I encourage her to take the trips. I'm like, go, get out. Go see friends. She got friends all over the world. I'm like, go do that. It's the least that you could do. Yeah. Get out of here. It's good for you and it's good for me. So it's a little selfish because it's good for me. When she gets back, she's energized. I'm like, all right, here's your kids. Enjoy another 6 months of jail. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So a couple things. First, if you're her source of, entertainment as an adult, shout out to Nona for that. Because I count down the time we're on the show. Like, it's at over an hour, and I'm dreading this. No, just playing. I do want to shout out my mom. Shout out to my mom. She talks about it like I went to my grandmother's for Thanksgiving, and she talked about she's like, yeah, Quan and his friends are on TV. When they're on TV, and she watches the show. And I thought about my mom. Shout out to you, Mom. But I thought about my mom because she was like, the kids aren't old enough to stay home alone. I'm like,
wow,
Mom, you should listen to this. Because I remember being like 5, just fending for myself.
She probably watched Home Alone.
What past the statue? The statue of
well, I don't know. You're still 18.
Yeah, I'm still kind of young. Yo, speaking about Home Alone, I actually just seen something. Did you know that Home Alone is supposed to be a Christian movie?
I did not get that vibe.
So here's the reason why. I just seen this. I don't know what pod this was on, but the old man, I forgot his name, old man, whatever. He sort of looks like a depiction of Jesus. At least that's what they said, right? But if you look too, when he goes, so the first time you see him, he's salting the earth. He's salting the earth. And then when Macaulay Culkin goes to the church, that's like the warm place of light, right?
You're right.
And then when he meets the guide, he has a bandage over his hand that looks like it was pierced through. When ultimately Macaulay Culkin, he didn't defeat the robbers. This guy came and saved them.
Yep.
Is it true? I don't know, but I was like, wow, I didn't even peep game.
That probably came from the 1 + 1 = 11 crowd.
It might have. It might have. Had I known that story beforehand, I might have probably put the two together. See what I did right there?
Yeah, I saw that. Not bad. This guy is always on. This guy's always on with the what they call entantras, whatever they're called. Maybe that's not the right word. This guy's good. Metaphor? Maybe that's the right word. Dang, I was gonna say something I completely forgot.
My
Home
mom,
Alone.
Home Alone.
Oh yeah. Shout out to your mom. Shout out to your mom. I'll never forget. I'll never forget that one. I won't say it on the show right now. I'll never forget that one
You can
interaction.
say it on the show.
Nah, it's all right. That's all right. Because I don't want. I'll say it on the show. So this is what we was picking up a TV or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, your heavy ass TV. For those that don't
Yeah.
know, Quan got a television that weighs at least equal to at least one baby elephant. Like that shit is ridiculously heavy.
It's a
And
flat
so-
screen too, so you gotta don't just be throwing it like I got one.
No,
of those
no.
big
It's not.
Zenith TVs.
It's not the old school tube TVs that were
Yeah,
heavy
yeah.
as shit. Nah, it's nice. So let me paint the picture. I mean, it's around Thanksgiving time. It's definitely fall because there's mad leaves on the ground. It's raining, and so we're walking up this wooden porch, right? And your mom got. I'm not sure if she still has it, but she had one of those mats that you wipe your feet on, but that just becomes like an ice sheet because it's covered in wet leaves.
Yeah.
And the mat's so old that all the traction underneath is definitely gone. It's like when you try to play basketball on old shoes. You just ice skating. I'm like trying to guard AI with some worn out Walmart shoes. This was what it felt like. And so we go get the TV. No, I go in and she has some friends over and obviously they're partying, right? The moment she sees me, what she say? What she say?
No,
What'd she
I'm not
say?
saying it.
What she say?
I know what she said, but I'm not saying
You
it.
know what she said? She's like, "Oh, look, it's the Jesus guy." And I'm like, "Oh." And what's crazy is I never spoke to her about it. And the reason I didn't really want to bring it up is I don't want people to know that's how I live because I say it. I want people to know that's how I live because they see how I live. You get what I'm saying? That's why
But
you
that's-
never hear me really talking about it. It's just how
So
because you hear a lot of people, namely like politicians, right? They try to use it like, oh, Christian, you know what I mean? Vote for me, I got good values. But they be doing the slimiest shit. So it's like, I don't want any kind of benefit, favor from anyone because I tell you this. No, just I want you to know that that's how I live and that's what I believe because of the way that I live, the way I carry myself, the way that I talk, which I can be cleaned up sometimes. I get that, but you know what I mean. The life that I live should speak louder than anything I could ever say.
So I don't know.
It made me feel a little uncomfortable.
Well, it's funny you say that because the reason why my mom did say that was because of the way you live and your action. Because she knew you was the reason why I was starting to go back to church. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why she said
What's
it.
up?
So,
I thought it was like the 12 Natty Ices.
well, it could have been that too, but yeah, it could have been that too. But I know that my mom meant it from a good place, where like she knew the impact you was making, in bringing me back to the word and the gospel.
Bless up, then. I feel better about that.
Yeah, it could have also been the fact that he's coming to save Quan with his TV. So
she knew that was gonna take the strength of Samson. That's what it was, because that shit was heavy. Even when we put it at my dad's crib for a little while. Remember that?
I forgot it was there for a minute.
And he helped me bring it down to the basement because we just had it in the living room, and not in the kitchen, in the dining room. And my mom was like, "You just can't leave this shit here. Like, it's fine, it can stay here, but you can't leave it right there." Yeah. So I was like, "All right, we'll put it in the basement. We'll put a blanket over so it don't get dusty or whatever." And my dad, he's like, "Yo, this shit is heavy." He's like, "What?" He's like,
"That is mad strong too."
So no, he is. He's like, "This is a heavy TV. What he got in there?" People probably thought you had weight behind the screen.
I'm out of here.
Shit crazy. Hey, listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. Man, what a great show. Before I wrap, is there anything else that you want to talk? We kind of went a little bit all over the place, but I feel like it all tied together.
It did tie together. And I think that this is a more natural kind of environment where sometimes it doesn't have to be so scripted. You just go off the vibe. And I think when you create that vibe, people naturally will gravitate towards it. So it's exactly what I wanted. How it's
Way to go.
perceived is how it's perceived.
Well, if you're like me, you don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's the point of me saying. That's the nice way of saying that. Is how it was perceived. Is how it's perceived. This guy.
Listen, you know me, man. I'm not part of that 1 + 1 = 11 deeper meaning crowd. It's like, yo, this time how it is, man. Why you trying to switch it up? People think that
Yeah, let's get
people,
off of that. You know
people
I
think they
hated
got
math,
game.
right?
What?
I hated math.
Math is the best subject in school. We'll finish with this. Why did you hate math?
I was terrible at it. And it just the
You
extra
sure?
shit. I hated. So like the
Having to
whole
show
X
your work?
plus Y Z shit. I didn't see how that was relatable to me in my situation.
Well,
I'm serious.
let's say, let me not even use that example.
X is the TV, Z is the weight behind it, and then you divide that by the customers.
That's what I'm saying. You want to make a certain amount of money off of something. So you got to figure out, all right, what do I got to price this at? If I could move, well, let's say I got 100 units and I want to make 20 grand, then how much should I sell each unit for? So then you'd have 100x equals 20,000. You divide the 100 and that's your answer. There's algebra.
That is still confusing me.
How? You have an unknown. You have an unknown.
I think I might have like ADHD to some degree.
You use math every single. Think about your. We should have just did this from the jump. I don't even know why I say units and product. We dare is what we support on this show. But
no, you don't. I wore that dare shirt on here one time. You started cooking me. I'm like, I'm getting rid of this shit.
Yeah, this guy shut up his Dare and the Lion. Get that shit out of here. Get that shit out of here. If you have, let's say, your store targets, right? Shout out to all our salespeople out there. Let's say you got 8 employees and you got to hit 300 new customers, 300 new lines. So how much per employee? Let's not even talk about, let's just say everybody works the same amount of hours. How much per employee? That's algebra, what you literally just did. You're just not thinking about it as an algebraic equation, but
and
you know that you got to do 300 divided by 8. So,
well, that's why I said that in the environment I was in, it didn't relate. If that made sense. And I'm talking about when I was in school going through this. I'm clearly now
grams to Grammys. This guy not listening to Hov.
No, I gotta listen to Hov. I'm gonna listen to Hov all night.
Okay. So what was your favorite subject?
History.
It sucks. Why?
Because at the time I thought most of it was the truth, and you kind of learn how we got to where we are and what like transpired and all that stuff. It was like factual stuff. Kind of like why I like documentaries now. Speaking about documentaries, did you watch that P. Diddy documentary? I know it's
no, I haven't.
I didn't watch it either.
All I know is that you do not want 50 Cent as a hater. That's all I know. That is something I know for sure.
Shout out to 50.
The only person that I could remember that had beef with 50 and bodied him was Jada.
Yeah.
Because remember when he was beefing with Floyd Mayweather? He kept cooking him. Like he be frying people.
Yeah, what do you call himself? The Petty King?
Yeah, there was an interview. My wife showed me. There was an interview with him. I think he was on the Today Show or something. I could be getting that wrong. They're like, he asked him who his favorite hero was, and then they asked him who his favorite villain was, and he just smiled. He's like, I like Diddy.
Yeah.
Bugging.
That's actually pretty funny.
He's a funny guy. Anyways, so math definitely was my favorite subject. And the reason why math was my favorite subject is because it made sense. It was the only thing that was it was a finite answer. Every equation had an answer, and there was logic behind why you got there. Whereas English class, you write something, and they'd be like, hey, here's a short story. It's only like 2 pages long. Write me a 5-page essay on this. What am I gonna do with that? And make sure you cite your sources. I'm gonna cite the whole fucking article. Then you're gonna call it plagiarism. You know what I'm saying? Or art class. My dad was like, how you get a C in art? I'm like, I don't know. I'm doing my best. Like, how you? And the fucked up part is this, right? You get your drawing back. You like, oh, I gave my best effort. I know I tried. I get a C on that shit. Then we took a field trip to the MoMA. And I'm like, you telling me the art that I handed in is worse than this shit on the wall? This is some 50-year-old dude in his mom's basement finger painting. That's crazy.
Bro, that is crazy.
Crazy. And
art is subjective anyway. So it's like
bullshit. That's what I'm saying. Like, you didn't apply the theory. What fucking theory?
Yeah.
This is watercolor. Fucking theory. You want me to be Monet? What you want me to do? Next project.
I think that's a good point. Nove being super creative and super talented with art.
She's nice with it.
It's like, how do you judge people that's around her in that same class? Because,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Like, why is it fair that I'm getting a B in this class because I got fucking Picasso next to me?
Yeah.
Like, fuck. I'm like, yo, you know what? Fuck this guy. Now every time he shows up, I'm gonna break all of his color pencils. I'm gonna mix all his paint.
Yo, I was decent in art. You know what you reminded me of though? With the English class. So we always used to have to do book reports.
Hated them.
But I did not have the focus to read. So I smartened up. And I just did book reports on every movie I knew that had a book to it. And I just wrote based
that's good.
That's all.
That's good.
Yeah.
How'd you do?
I did phenomenal.
Really?
Wow. Yeah.
Damn. See, the problem with me is that, like, I don't even like watching movies like that.
Yeah. I love movies. There was one movie I watched that I actually started reading the book. And I was like, that's when I was like, damn, the power of the book is actually kind of crazy. So the movie was A Time to Kill with Samuel L. Jackson, Matthew McConaughey. Crazy movie. And then when I read the book and how graphic the opening scene was, I was like, thank God they couldn't put this to picture because it was pretty bad. But then you start thinking, like, one, the world's fucked up, and two, how the power of the mind works, which is something we could kind of talk about, and then we'll cut it. But the power of the mind is wild, right? Like, your imagination and how because, like, if you read the same book, we're reading the same words, but mentally, it might look a little different, right?
Yes. Yep.
And this will tie into the beginning of kind of what I was saying. Like, who do we talk to the most? Well, I know who I talk to the most. I think most individuals.
Jesus.
Now you wonder why you got the nickname. Nah, but I talk to myself the most. Like, mentally, right?
Well, that's a good point.
On those car rides and all this. Like, and then when you do that, sometimes the negative thoughts will seep in, and then you got to handle that. And then how do you handle that? But yeah, power of the mind, man. And then as episodes come on, I'll share some of the things that I've been watching, listening, and kind of absorbing to try to get me through.
Well, that's good. I'm glad you could do that because I wouldn't share any of that because I don't do that. But I think it's good that you do that. But what I will say, 2 things. Drake bar for that. The power of mind's not a joke. This is shit I wrote about when I was broke. So that's a bar. 1, I don't usually do this unless I'm drunk or I'm high, but I'm both right now. Got me talking about my life. And second is, now I agree with you. Number 1, I didn't read many books. Hopefully that doesn't show. But like when we had to read books for school, it was like that. And that's why you had those conversations where it's like, what'd you take from this? And what'd you take from that? And everybody would say something different. Cause like you said, like when you watch a movie, it's the director's interpretation of the book, right? Where it's there, what was in their mind. And also they have to condense it down to make it like 90 minutes, 2 hours or whatever. So there's that. When you read it, like you said, your mind can kind of go wherever, whatever, because you might tie it into your own experience. Maybe you experience something similar to a book that you're reading, to what you consumed on your own media or whatever. So I agree with that. I never thought about the time that you spend talking to yourself though, because I do a lot of that. Like in the car, he's in the car ride home, just think replaying the day's events, or maybe you heard something that kind of got your mind going, whether it was in a book that you're reading or even a song that you're listening to. Like sometimes you hear like a fire bar and you just like you'll be dissecting it in your mind. You're like, yo, that
Yeah.
shit is crazy. I gotta be more cognizant of that. You seen this thing where they got this, you could put it on the back of your phone and it's like an AI transcriber thing where like if whenever
No.
you speak to it, it'll like give you a recap. Kind of like how when you have like a meeting, if you have like the team's AI or whatever enabled, it'll give you like a recap of whatever you said. Stuff like that. I'm like, man, that would be pretty cool. And I'm like, one, I don't want this shit listening to me. And two, I'd probably be disappointed in myself if I listen back to what I said.
Yeah.
So, unless I'm on the mic,
Christmas gift.
boom. You heard it here first. Accepting all
Christmas gift
donations.
from Matt to Matt.
Don't do that. Man, this was a great episode, though. I'm glad that we were able to kind of unveil this new format. Like I said, this is what you can expect from Infamously Speaking moving forward. There might be times where we might delve into a little bit of sports talk if there's like a really big event, maybe around Super Bowl, playoff time, or big events that happen. But we're always going to try to tie it back to relatable things that happen in the day-to-day. Because I'm not sure if you ever had times like this where sometimes it feels like Sunday starts.
Run like that and shine like this.
He's to pray for times like this. But I'm not sure if you ever felt like there's gaps where it's like Sunday starts and Saturday ends. And it's kind of just like a cycle. You know what I mean? And a lot of those days while you got stuff done, you could probably be more productive in that time. So having conversations like this or listening into conversations like this, or as use the audience commenting on videos or even hitting me or Quan up, emailing us at Infamously Speaking, or sorry, social media at Infamously Speaking, or emailing us infamously@gmail.com with your thoughts, right? This is a good dialogue. It's a good conversation because it kind of helps you break out of that cycle you can get into, you know, where the day ends and starts and then it ends. And it's like, man, what did I really do today? So these are the kind of conversations that we're going to be doing.
And I think it's dope too, is to have a different perspective from somebody who might not be privileged to your situation or have any bias behind it.
Right. Yes.
Except for maybe 100%. Matt, because he truly don't give a fuck. But
no, don't say that.
I'll care.
Don't say that. That's not true. You know, the only time I really, and I even shouldn't say that. My first thought is, here's the thing, okay? And I promise we'll wrap after this because we're getting to almost an hour and a half, which is fine. Is when I hear, like when I'm talking to somebody, especially at work. So, and obviously, you know, if you work with me, then if you feel like the shoe fits, then there you go. If we're talking about something work related, and then you start talking about things that happened and as why you couldn't get certain things done that you were supposed to, know that that's already going to alter how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking about. Because I'm like, why are you telling me this right now? Or why are you telling me? And not only that, but I guarantee you that you could have told me that you wouldn't have had this done on time before the deadline. You could have told me that. You probably knew the second you were like, yeah, I'm probably not going to have this ready. But you didn't tell me. Now you're waiting to tell me. So you wasted even more time. See what I'm saying? Because time is the one thing that I can't get back. And you're wasting my time by bullshitting me, telling me a story that, A, even if you had it done, I really didn't want to hear. No, I didn't want to hear that you had to take your dog to the vet. Oh, is he fine? Listen, just like you don't want to hear that my son's not feeling good, right? Do you want to hear that? No, you probably don't give a shit. Because then now you have to be like, oh, I'm so sorry, even though you're not. You know what I mean? Like, why do we do that? Why do we engage in that bullshit? But you know, I don't give a fuck if your son was coughing last night.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done. Wrap this show up. wrap, wrap this show up, guy.
Oh, appreciate everybody for tuning in, especially if you made it this far. Hopefully, you got a couple good laughs in the episode. The bars are going to continue to come back, both borrowed and original. Follow the show at Infamously Speaking, TikTok, Instagram. Like we said, feel free to reach out, whether it's personally or through social media. We plan to have one episode minimum every week. We might, and I shouldn't say we might, we will eventually continue to do live shows. It just depends, like you said, scheduling, what we're talking about. Some things are better for recorded conversations than other ones. With that being said, as always, think critically, speak infamously. Slav.
Love.